I'm Pete from Project Heaven. We're here at Goodwood Revival. Let's have a look around at our stand. So we bought the Ferrari GTO with us. That's looking fantastic. Hopefully someone's going to buy it this weekend. Coming a bit further, we've got our pin boards up here showing all of our services and everything that's in-house on this one and all of our previous restoration projects, so we can look at that. Harry, our painter, has done some examples of the differences of paints going from cellulose, 2K and water-based, so people can see for themselves the differences between all of the types of paint. He's also done this demonstration showing start to finish the paint process that we go through. Sandblasting, bare metaling, primering, filling, base coat and lacquer. So that's shown up. And then this area over here, we've got a little like seating area and some of our videos playing on the TVs behind us. And then the last thing is our Tesla unit that we designed. So this one will fit under any car, any classic car, it's universal. We did this one particularly for Aston Martin, but it doesn't matter, it can go in anything. And we've got another unit we've developed which is for E-Types. Welcome back to Goodwood, and we're in the paddock and we're going to have a look around. So, some fantastic Jags over here. Lovely row of Aston Martin DB4 GTs. Ferraris over here. That's cool, isn't it? The AC Cobra in raw aluminium, I like that. Quite a few semi-lightweight E-Types here, so they've got aluminium bonnets, doors and boot. Nice row of GT40s down there. Sorry, we won't take it. These are really cool cars. GDR Griffiths. I think there's a chap over here that's probably favourite to win, I think, if any luck. Some beautiful Ferraris here. I can't wait to see these out on track later on. The 250 Ferraris have just come back in the short wheelbase ones. I really like those. They're just out on track. Jaguar E-Types, I really love these. I really want to build one of these one day. sound of that. Little driver here. I think she's the tow truck actually for this Ferrari. Just saying, the Ferrari 340 F1, what a beautiful racing car that is.
So we're here on Saturday at Goodwood Revival. Wanted to show you one of our displays here, which is one of the body shop displays, to show you the process that we use to right the way to the final product. But what's most important is what's underneath that final product to allow the material to stick, but also to give longevity and keep the corrosion away. So we blast with crushed glass and other medias that are quite fine to start off with, to give us a really good adhesion for our epoxies, and then we often bare metal the outside, particularly if the paint works good. That means we've got rid of any surface rust or anything that's going to cause any problems later on, so you've got a nice clean surface for the paint to stick. Then we have an epoxy primer that's anti-corrosive. It's a really strong primer that will stick straight after these processes, to make sure that no rust is going to get in, but if there's anything left behind it will kill that as well, especially if anything forms in the future. Then we start to apply our fillers directly on top of that epoxy. So we have here kind of a bridging filler, high strength fiberglass filler that's designed for high strength areas, like it can replace lead work and things like that. Traditionally lead work can cause some problems, whereas we use this high strength filler here that will actually keep that strength, but also allow us to build high builds where required. We can also use that on sort of door edges, very strong product that will be stronger than some steels, so we can build up edges and get shapes right, particularly on classic cars where the door gaps are often incorrect. Then this is a lightweight filler, super lightweight filler that we have. It's really good we do a lot of aluminium conversion, so steel panels converted to aluminium, then we can use this lightweight filler that will allow us to build on the product but not add too much weight back on, so it looks good and it's still lightweight. And then this is a fine filler that we use for finishing off, and then a kind of spray filler that we'll use to make sure that there's no ripples and that all the details are correct. Then we go on to our high build, that again just allows us to bring it down to a final finish ready for a base coat here. We use various different kinds of base coats, but we favour water base. It's the strongest product with the best adhesion, which will last the longest, but it allows us to put a clear lacquer that's very shiny, scratch resistant, that will last for many years, but it's also got UV in, so particularly on a red like this, traditionally you'd expect it to fade over time, but because the lacquer has a UV product in there to counteract the UV rays, then it allows us to ensure that the paintwork will look good for many years to come. So one of our other displays we have at Goodwood is the different kinds of paint finishes that we might use. Traditionally in classic cars, a lot of the solid colours would have been in this cellulose paint, which is a 1K product. It looks quite nice when it's painted. It's more traditional to use that paint. It does have some downsides. Over time it will sink back and not be as shiny, so it needs a lot of maintenance to keep it looking as good as possible. It's also more liable to fade as well over time. The cellulose we have these days is a lot better than it was years ago. So it still looks quite nice. You can still see it looks quite good even today. Then we have a 2K, which is basically it's a colour pigment that it has the lacquer included, and it's all joined together. So it looks quite shiny. It works quite well. It's cheaper than other processes. The downsides to it are it can fade. It's more likely to fade. If the pigment's at the top of that pile of paint, then it could fade a little bit. But our preference is to use water-based paint. It's a lot kinder to the environment. It's got a lot better adhesion. Is one of the main benefits as well. It's almost like a PVA glue, so it's going to stick. The water base will stick to your lacquer as well, so it's unlikely to fall off the panel any time in the future. It gives a lot more depth to shine, so we put the water-based colour down first, and then we put the lacquer on top when it's dry. So it gives a much more shiny effect. And if you scratch or damage the panel in future, we're able to just blow the colour over the area that's damaged and then lacquer out the whole panel, whereas with a 2K product we'd end up painting the whole panel, and obviously if the paint's been on there some time it might have faded a little bit, and trying to get a match when you're painting the whole panels edge to edge is difficult. But with water base it's a lot easier to maintain and continue to look good in the future. That's why it's all preferred on modern cars these days. But even on classic cars like the Ferrari we painted, it was all done in water base, as it gives the best effect over time, and it's the easiest to maintain and look good over a long, considerable lifespan of the paint.
At Goodwood, they don't just have cars, there's lots to see and a huge variety. Just behind me are all of the planes. So Will, Pete's business partner, may have seen him in other videos. He actually used to own or his family owned a Miles Messenger. So I believe there's one in there, so let's go and have a look. So here we are at the Miles Messenger. Hard to believe, but this was actually family transport for Will when he was younger. At Project Heaven, not only do we work on classic cars, but we've also done a lot of work on classic planes for Will and several of our customers. Project Heaven, we have made custom exhausts, repaired exhausts for aeroplanes, we made cowlings, and we've actually done an engine swap. So if you need anything done on your classic plane, don't hesitate to get in touch.
Fantastic race that was. That was one I was really looking forward to, all the GT40s in it. Now we've got some older stuff coming up next.
So I'm going to take you around to see some of the E-Types on the stands, because some really nice E-Types here, just pick out some really nice points that we like from them. But we'll start here. This is our EV conversion unit for E-Types. It's pretty much bolt on. A great solution if you want an electric E-Type, if you want the performance, if you want the ability to drive in cities, things like that. A great alternative to combustion engine. So that's our unit. Let's go and have a look at some of the other cars. So here's one of the E-Types that Spline Hub have built and put together. I really like the leatherwork on here. I think it's fantastic, the blood red leatherwork. Talking to them yesterday, apparently a lot of them are vinyl, especially the door cards and things like that, but all the leatherwork in here is all leather, and it looks absolutely awesome. Nicely put together. And the other thing I really like about their work is all the nickel plated A-frames on the front of the car. Really nice touch. Always do a great job. Let's go and have a look at something else. So Turner Classics have done this restoration here. Really nice job. Looks fantastic, especially with the mirror underneath. But one of the really small details that I like, and I really think small details go a long way, especially with these E-Types. They've got all the original spot weld marks on the back of the arch here. So it just looks like it would have left the factory. It looks great. Really nice job. Nice colour. We're painting one exactly the same in this colour at the moment, so it's good to see the colour in the flesh. Looks really nice, that nice car. There's another one in here. This is a great car as well. All original, even though it has the original marks on it. It looks great. 4-speed overdrive as well, which is pretty rare. But car looks fantastic. So back at the Turrino stand, our sister company, a lot of cars feature the wheels made by Turrino. But what's amazing about them is that the outer rim and other components that are being tested at the moment are aluminium to keep the weight down. So unlike a normal wheel that people might have on their E-Type, it's quite heavy. This is about nearly 2 kilos lighter, I think it is, quite a big weight saving. So when they're polished up, they look really good, but they also save a lot of weight. So a lot of people say it like transforms the handling of an E-Type. So quite a cool product. You see a lot of cars dotted around with them. Definitely worth looking at. And that's very nice. Very nice colour. I like that. And this is pretty interesting. Learned this yesterday. Peter told me about this. The early E-Types, how the louvers are inset, whereas on the newer ones they were obviously flat level. So this is really nice detail on this early E-Type. And then there's some pretty nice E-Types here as well in the Stirling Moss Trophy. Look at all these E-Types along here. Don't they look amazing? Quite the machines when you see them go round as well. I love this colour. This is one same colour we're painting in the workshop at the moment, so that's quite good to see that going around. Quite exciting.
Okay, we're here watching the GT cars. We're rooting for the TVR because on Turrino Wheels. So let's see how he does.
here we are at Paul Busby's Formula 2 1966 car. Paul Busby is actually one of our mechanics at Project Heaven, so this is like super cool. His Formula 2 car performs at its best between 8,000 and 11,000. Its red line is at 11,000 RPM. He's actually going to fire it up for us in a minute, so I'm going to stand back because it's going to be pretty noisy. Perfect spot to watch the cars coming through the chicane over here. So back at Goodwood, day 3. We're having a lot of interest in the Tesla conversion unit we've got here, so I thought I'd just go through a bit of the information on it. So this one's actually a general purpose unit we've built, so this could go under anything like a, you know, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Maserati, whatever you like. We built another unit, another one we've designed, which has got some leaflets on, which isn't for an E-Type, and the E-Type one, that'll just go bolt straight in. The only panel you have to change is the boot floor. We would drill the spot welds out, take the boot floor panel out, put a different boot floor in, and then you wouldn't notice inside the car any difference, because where the petrol tank was is where the motor would stick up into. But both units have the same thing, both things we designed. They've got independent suspension like this, got adjustable shock absorbers. We can change the spring rates to whatever you need. This unit is the Tesla Model S motor, so it's about 360 odd horsepower, and with the battery packs we use, you get about 300 miles range. So it's a decent conversion. It's not like a sort of 100 miles or so. It's a proper horsepower, proper range on this. Been very popular, lots of people asking about it, so if you're here, come and speak to us about it. Okay, we're back near the chicane and I thought we'd just check out a bit of bike racing.
So this is the car. This is a brand new recreation of the most amazing Grand Prix car ever. 600 plus horsepower at, I don't know, 12,000 plus RPM in 1949 or whatever. Absolutely mental. They were unsuccessful, unfortunately, because they didn't get reliability till it was too late. And these are brand new replica wheels we made of the original Dunlop alloy rim wire wheels. These here, these were rolled round, and they didn't do aluminium welding in those days, so they're riveted together, and then that's a balance weight on the opposite side to carry out the to equalise the weight on the wheel. But just I always wanted to make wheels for this car, and yeah, we got 2 sets done, so very happy about that. But just look at it. Twin stage, centrifugal supercharger.
Hello, I'm Luke from Project Heaven, and today we are back in the paddock at the Goodwood Revival. We're just going to have a look at some of the cars that are about to go out on track. As I'm sure you guys know, we have a sister company, Turrino Wheels, that supply a lot of wheels for all of these classics. We just so happen to have found one. We have this lovely 1957 Jaguar. This is driven by a guy called Darren. And as you can see, he is running our Turrino wheels on there. Obviously there is a lot of vehicles here running Turrino wheels, so we can't find all of them for you, but we are certainly going to go around the paddocks now and see what other vehicles we can find. So here we find ourselves at Aston Martin DBR4 from 1959. This is racing in the Richmond Trophy. Also has the Turrino wheels fitted. Here we have found a 1952 Aston Martin DB3. This is racing in the Freddie March Memorial Trophy. Okay, so the Allard is a car that we have seen in Project Heaven in the past, and we just so happen to have found the 1952 Allard J2X. Also is on the Turrino wheels, racing in the Freddie March Memorial Trophy. So in the St Mary's Trophy we have this lovely 1959 Jaguar Mark 1. So we now find ourselves at the Festival of British Trophy, where 90% of the grid of these cars are all running Turrino wheels. So if I run through a few of them, there's the ERA A-Type R3A, 1934, 1935 ERA B-Type, 1935 ERA A-Type, another 1935 ERA B-Type, a 36 ERA B-Type, another 1936 ERA B-Type. And you see a continuation of all the late 30s ERA to B-Types and E-Types. We have a 1950 Ferrari 340 F1. Parked next to a very nice 1935 Maserati 4CM. The 1936 Maserati C6M. 1935 Maserati C6M. The 38 C6M. Moving on to the 1934 Maserati 8CM. And the 38 Maserati 8 CTF. the Alfa Romeo 308C, and the Alfa Romeo 158. So here we find ourselves at the 1945 Bugatti Type 73C. Sat next to a Talbot Lango Type 26C. Another Talbot Type 26C. The 1948 Alvis Goodwin Special. A 1937 Alta 61 LS. And the Parnell MGK3. So over here we have found ourselves a very nice 1964 TVR Griffith 400. This is racing in the Royal Automotive Club TT Celebration, and we've got really high hopes of him bringing in a great victory today.
Proper at the first corner, but it looks like everyone's made it through even with that spin.
Yeah, with the Wilmot delivery car, that's kind of a 68, that's the Fiskin Hancock car. E-Type around sideways, so will it get back into the race? But it just goes.
A Cobra appears to the left there, trying to go all the way around the outside. He's braked really late and dives to the inside of the TVR. I think he's made that stick. That's a fantastic move. 2 places in one corner.
Itself all at 6s and 7s. The Wilmot car has already been off there once on lap 1 or 2, and just again.
Unfortunately, the TT didn't finish the race, but it was one of our favourite races of the weekend. And now we're back home at Project Heaven in our new extension to the workshop. As you can see, we've got the DB4 in here, the Healy, and coming up next, the Lancia. So this extension we've put on is to do the full restorations, the slower running projects. So they're separate from the main workshop where all the fast moving stuff happens. Anyway, we had a fantastic time at Goodwood Revival, and we can't wait till next year. We'll be there again.